The regular meeting of the Waterworks and Lighting Commission for Wednesday, October 8th, 2014 will come to order. Second item on the agenda is approval, additions, or corrections to the meeting minutes for the regular commission meeting held September 10th. The commissioners had a chance to review the minutes.
I make a motion, we accept them.
Okay.
I'll second.
The motion been made by Mike and seconded by Tom to approve the regular commission meeting minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The special commission meeting held September 26th.
I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes.
I'll second.
The motion's been made by Tom, seconded by John. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The Finance Committee held October 8th, 2014.
I move we approve the minutes as drafted.
I'll second.
The motion's been made by John, seconded by Tom to approve the Finance Committee minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There's an action item for training, and that was requested by Matt. So if anyone has any questions?
I actually have some changes.
Okay.
The original request was for Adam, Brunig, and Moses Farmouth to go to the training. Adam is not going to be available for the training. So Moses would be the only one attending, and we wouldn't have him drive down by himself, so we would fly him instead. The cost overall is still less than the $1,200 that I'm requesting. The other option is we're trying to give remote training so that Adam and Moses can both attend at the same time. If that happens, the cost is zero. I mean, we'll do it here on site, so there wouldn't be any added cost to that. But I would like the approval of this request, you know, in case we send Moses, you know, have to send him off to training, and then we'd have to send Adam at a later date.
Adam has his conflict, he's got to take, I think his DNR testing for water
Yeah.
distribution or something.
On November 5th.
So that's why there's the conflict.
Is there sufficient training if only one person is trained? Is that,
If we can send as many people as we want, there's no additional cost. The cost that's in here is only for travel and hotel.
But no, we would want additional, that's why if they don't do it remotely for us here, eventually we'll have to send Adam down to get it unless Moses picks it up well enough to be able to train Adam, and you know,
Right.
those situations go, yeah.
yeah. So we might, in this case, it might require a second.
Correct.
Correct.
We're hoping for the remote, but they haven't allowed us to do that yet, have they?
No. Not for this type of training, we haven't been able to do it remote yet.
I move that we approve the training as amended. I second it.
Okay, the motion's been made by John, seconded by Mike to approve the changes for the training. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Another action item is approval of billing adjustments.
I would just make the motion based upon our discussion this morning.
Yeah,
Those amounts.
I'll make the motion for the approval of billing adjustments.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion by Tom, seconded by John to approve the billing adjustments. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of write-offs.
I'll make a motion to accept the approval of the write-offs.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion's been made by Tom, seconded by Mike to approve the write-offs. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Department updates, the safety committee. Dale isn't here, but I'm sure Jim or
Todd could probably handle anything
Okay.
that comes up.
Okay.
I guess I had a question on this comment on the lock tag procedure.
Correct.
My understanding of the best practice is to have a multi-gang lock system, and no one can take their lock off. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone has to take their lock off before it's safe to operate. This,
Yeah.
the way this is described, there
Yeah.
could be a risk.
When you're in the paper mill environment, which both of us are familiar with, that is the type of lockout process that you normally have because you have multiple people usually working in an area on a certain piece of equipment. So you usually put one lock that then goes in a box, and then everybody puts their gang lock on that one box. Most of our instances have one person working on a particular piece of equipment, so that's what we were talking about that day in that discussion. But we do also have the HASS, which allows 6 locks on it, and if that is the case, we'd have multiple locks on it. We have these lockout boxes now that have 5 different locks on them, so 5 people could lock out the device if they had to, and then they would keep their keys. What I'd like to get to eventually though is, again, like in the paper mill, everybody had their own padlocks with their names on the padlocks. And I'd like to get to that at some point, but this was a fast way to get these lockout boxes installed and have them for use.
I would encourage you to do that because there's still a risk until you.
Yep, I agree.
Any other questions or comments? Line superintendent report.
No shortage of opportunity.
Correct, they've been busy.
Any questions or comments?
The park downtown streetlight controller, where's that located?
It's right next to Jackson Street Bridge on the Memorial Park side.
Okay, that's what somebody was working on that today then? That would be the one?
Yep.
It just strikes me, it's not really a traffic controller, is it? They took all the traffic lights out.
Yeah, we use the same cabinet for traffic control as we do for street lighting control.
So actually it's for the-
So it's an empty cabinet that would be purchased from a traffic controller company like Capco.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
it is street lighting though.
okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? The water department report.
One leaking lead service or lead service?
I'm thinking it was.
It's
should be
lead.
lead.
Oh, that,
So we still have some lead pipe?
Very few, but there are still some in town that are, basically, it's the customer's lead, it's not necessarily ours. It's their feed from our curb stop.
Not a good idea.
No. But it's technically theirs, so.
Isn't that pretty common in the older sections of most cities, that there's still lead?
There is some, yes. Especially the bigger the city, usually the more there is, yeah.
Yeah.
does the crew have training or familiar with how to handle the lead pipe? Is there anything special they need to do?
Not a whole lot.
Okay.
Unless they see it really deteriorating and then gloves and masks.
Okay.
Usually it's not that bad.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Office manager report.
Great 30-day arrears.
Looking good. Yeah. Hope to keep the ball rolling.
Any questions or comments for Joel? We'll move on to Director of Finance report.
You know, the current accounts receivable is down roughly 700,000 from last month. Again, that's pretty much weather related.
The year-to-year comparison, that's a big chunk of it, and then the other parts are collection efforts with having that threshold lower and lower, and we made it through the winter with that lower threshold for water disconnect, so that's kind of fed into the total receivable balance, so. But a good chunk of it is weather related.
We didn't, we have one day at 90 degrees, if that. I don't know if we even hit 90 this. So typically we'll get a week stretch where it's mid to high 90s and the air conditioners are running, and it never happened this year.
17% lower, that's really huge.
It's not across the glue footprint of the member utilities, that's about the average. Some are ranging 15, some as high as 20% down consumption. And that's without losing a customer or a significant customer.
Any other questions or comments for Jeff?
It's the reason why the delay on the rate case hurt us more this year than it would in past years, because we didn't have the volume of consumption we normally do.
Information systems report.
Any issue with the go-live date?
For the MapLife software? Yeah, no, that's still on schedule.
Any other questions or comments for Matt? Conservation Manager report.
I saw this awards that were presented for art at Wisconsin Rapids and Assumption. Is this something that is industry-wide, or is this our own thing?
Different utilities put together different contests that they run. This is something that we've done for 2 years. Last year the results were excellent. We had a lot of children in the public and private school systems that participated. So it's something specifically that we are doing. Are other utilities doing it? That's a possibility.
Some are, I mean, it's more of a public power promotion, that's why we're doing it, and the kids tomorrow will get their awards for the winners. We typically have them do the artwork in either water or electric conservation, and that's what the theme of what they're supposed to be drawing. And then we have employees in the office pick the better ones that they think, and then we give them a small gift certificate for. And it's all as a part of Public Power Week and trying to get kids to the open house too.
So it does have a science?
Correct. Well, energy efficiency or water conservation, those are the two topics that they're allowed to draw on.
You could write a summary or draw a picture, and what we essentially do is pick the three best ones, and we have them printed out into bookmarks, and we give them out periodically through the year. We have them in the front office, and kids enjoy it. It's a good way to display and show, how to conserve electricity and water.
Yeah, if that's the kind of focus, I think that's very good. If it's strictly art, one of the things that we as a community and a lot of the world is missing is folks that are focused in STEM. And if anything we can do to promote the kids getting an interest in science, I think is to our advantage.
Sean, would you like to remind the public of the open house?
Yes, Thursday, October 9th, from 3 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. We are hosting an open house event that APPA, American Public Power Association, has been doing since 1986. And it gives the community a chance to come to Water and Light that day, and we can articulate the benefits that publicly owned utility has to offer. So we're inviting everyone to come. There'll be food and raffles at no cost. We'll have some rides, some water tours, and we encourage everyone in the community to come.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Mike?
I have a question on security for stuff like that with all this stuff going on. I mean, I know years ago I got to see where the water treatment is. I mean, is that really secure to keep some terrorists away from? Obviously, they contaminated our water system. That would be a terrible thing. I don't know if that's off if it's not on the agenda. I'm just curious when you're saying the open house. I mean, to prevent.
We have enough employees at the event to steer people away from the areas we don't want them, and all the areas that we have them are basically in the garage, and it's all blocked off, essentially.
And is that, I mean, obviously, that's a secure facility. I'm just talking anytime, too. I mean, the stuff that goes on in this world scares me, I guess. So.
There's access control at all entry doors from the filter plant, so that's all locked down.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Sean? Director of Engineering report.
We're going to get the dog and pony show?
I do have some show and tell. So we did some work in our Gator substation that is by the zoo. The switchgear at that substation is approximately 40 years old. What we found last spring, we do an annual infrared inspection of all the equipment, and we started seeing some hot spots, and you also can actually smell the ozone in the air when you have electricity jumping at that type of voltage. And so what we did is actually replaced all the copper bus and all the insulation in the switchgear, and what was happening is there's porcelain barriers between the cells that this bus passes through, and when they designed the gear 40 years ago, they didn't cut the opening in the porcelain wide enough to take into account that when this is energized, it actually vibrates from, the electricity that's going through it. So over time, the insulation was rubbing against the porcelain and then deteriorating, and then you get moisture and contaminants in the cubicles over time as well. So that was actually giving the electricity a path to follow from the copper bus across the porcelain barrier to the metal structure of the gear. So we had to take the entire substation out of service, which is roughly a little over 1,300 customers. We were feeding all those for 2 days from the other substation on the west side of the city, and we took down all the switchgear and replaced all the bus. So that should be good to last us hopefully another 40 years. And then the other thing that we found during the maintenance is we had to open up the 46 kV switches at the substation, and this is the best way to describe this would be like an electrical muffler. It fits at the end of the switch, and at that voltage as the switch goes closed, the switch hits this piece on the way in and then hits this piece on the way out, and the arc that would start because of that voltage, it actually gets suppressed in this piece here, which is kind of like a muffler. But what we found was this movable piece had seized up on 2 of the 12 parts like this that were on the switches. And so while we had the substation down, we were able to remove the 2 that weren't working. We have new parts on order, and we were able to just keep the switches closed for now, and at the end of the month, the new parts should come in and we'll be able to replace them. So we were able to get the whole substation down, kind of a nice maintenance check about all the equipment at that time. So the other thing I have for us is our APPA RP3 application. So we used to be every 2 years you had to fill out this application if you wanted to try to receive the Reliable Public Power Award from APPA. They've now switched it to every 3 years, but the application is quite intense, as you can see by the thickness of this folder. And so I submitted that last week, and in February we'll find out if we are one of the winners of the award. But we've won the award ever since we started submitting it, the application since 2011. So that's what I have.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears in that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that.
A lot of long days.
Must have taken more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments for Todd?
I got just one. Todd,
Yeah.
that switch,
Yep.
does that replace the old Quick Whip?
Yes, that's exactly what it's doing. Yep.
So, okay, those 2 right here, that's replacing the Quick Whip, right?
Right. So it's kind of suppressing the arc from the switch is what it's doing.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, times have changed.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments for Todd? General Manager report.
No issues from the quality standpoint with the water from the conversion, Jim?
Not at all. Actually, there's been I think, compliments as far as the taste that we've received since we got rid of the wine. So, knock on wood, it's going well. And also, besides reduced our costs, it's also increased our capacity now because we can run both accelerants simultaneously, where before we'd have to take one down to run the other one because of the way the piping was engineered. So it's worked out all the way around.
We continue to save on the effluent.
Yes. Very much so. We're down from about 20 grand a month to 1,500, 1,600.
Any other questions or comments for Jim? We'll move on to the accounts payable review.
This 43,000.
Excuse me, John, what page are you on?
Page 1.
Okay.
About the middle of the page, 43,000 electric inventory, some big items in that.
I think most of that was wire.
That's wire, yeah.
Okay.
Is truck 91 and 50, are they both new trucks?
Oh, you know, Paul, I always get my truck numbers mixed up.
50 is, that's gotta be back in, it's gotta be about 8 to 10 years old, I would say, if not longer. And 91 has been been in the fleet for a long time.
Well, I see you're getting a dump body for 91,
Yeah,
and then what kind of a body for 50.
I think they just, is Chad here? No, Chad.
That's 21,000 for that.
I think 911's it's a new 911, I think they
Yeah,
replaced that
it's
this
new.
year, so
Right.
it's a brand new truck.
It's a brand new truck.
That would be the reason.
Yeah.
Well, no, that was 14, yeah. And 50, they're gonna put it,
I believe if they're buying a new body, it's a brand new truck, so I think 5L must be a brand new truck this
Yeah.
year.
okay.
Yeah, that
They're
would-
not buying bodies just for old trucks.
I didn't think so.
No.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions?
I had just some questions in the financial preceding this part. Industrial power line was down. Is that also weather related, or is there some other factor there?
That's not really that weather related. I mean, industrial power is pretty
Yeah,
consistent,
I wouldn't think it
so
would be.
it must just be, they're using a little bit less, or we're hoping we can do some more analysis for next month if you'd like on that.
And Sean do some checking on consumption and see what's going on there.
And the other one is the overhead line expense was up.
From a month to month.
That's the new line I think they're building in Buren that we've been working on all summer.
If you go past Anchor Bay, you'll see all the new poles and lines that we're putting in, so.
That's what it is.
That's taking them from up to 13.2, right?
Yeah, that's getting rid of all the existing 4160 and converting it to our 13,200 volt standard.
And the streetlight maintenance was also up.
Yeah, what we're doing now is, with the fall approaching and you're gonna have darker, time periods of the day, I have a crew that's been spending more time just focusing on all the streetlights in the city, and when we had that hailstorm come through, it actually ruined a lot of the photo eyes on a lot of the lights, so they're going around and replacing all those, so that number's gonna be up for the next couple months.
Any other questions? Okay, if there's no other comments, then I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Okay, you got it.
Okay.
You need a second?
Yes.
You got that?
Okay. We're adjourned then.